A tough economy is a challenge for everyone, individuals, business owners, and shareholders. While it can bring untold hardship, suffering, just a very few people know how to flourish in the state. With rising inflation, the spate of insecurity, unemployment, lack of power supply, among others, many see leaving the country as the ultimate solution. But as much as there can be good times, there could also be bad times. Therefore, there is a need to know how to maneuver such situation and still live adequately. So joining me in the studio is to discuss how one can thrive in a harsh economy is Director of Organization Development and Planning Center for Real Impact, Julie Mobu. Julie, good morning. It's good to have you join me.
Good morning, Mike. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Great. Now, the point there is most of the people complain of the harsh economy, but at times like this, are they individuals or even companies that are prospering at a time like this, apart from those who may be politicians or getting contracts from government and all of that? Keeping that aside, we're looking at the real economy, the real people. Are they individuals making monies from times like this, meeting needs and all of that, or even companies?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mike. So one thing I would like for us to know is that there are human beings still on the earth, and so long as we have life, there will continually be needs. So there'll be need for education, there'll be need for healthcare, there'll be need for, most importantly, food and water. There'll be need for security. So the needs are diverse and the needs are dynamic, the needs are continuous. There's no end to what the human being needs to survive. That is on one part. So if we have needs, then it means that the human will go in search of how to have their needs met. So there are companies, there are individuals, there are entrepreneurs that are proffering solutions to the many problems that human beings have. So to directly answer your question, Mike, yes, there are individuals that are succeeding and they are making money even in this harsh or distressed economy.
Well, it's good to hear that this is a little cherry that some people are making money and they will keep making monies at times like this. But let's narrow it down to the average. Everyone talks about the issue of the power. Of course, power generation or energy is needed by almost everyone. If you're doing your personal business or you're doing a corporate business for other people, power is going to be needed to do a lot of things. Now, capital and so many other things. But talk to us to the average, to the average person who is in business or who needs to survive and maneuver through or navigate through what's going on right now. What are the factors to look at?
All right, if I got you correctly, Mike, how with the capital, with the need for generating power in order to run businesses, how are people able to, the individual, the average business people out there? Well, Nigerians are very resilient, I will say. They are forced to bring up their creativity. They are forced to seek out alternatives, to get creative about how they can go about surviving daily. Even though there is a lot that we expect from the government in terms of generating power, making funds available, making security, and every other factor that encourages business or makes business thrive in a country, that a lot of that lies on the shoulders of the government. But put that aside, like I said when I started, that Nigerians are very resilient. They constantly think about how to survive because the average man out there believes that the government doesn't really care about them. How can they even access loans? A lot is happening. Insecurity. They don't have enough resources to acquire a generator that would give them the power that they need to run their businesses, to register their business, to have the right environment to work. The processes are tedious, they are cumbersome, not encouraging. regardless of that, they still find a way to go about running their businesses. One of the ways that the creative ways that people have come up with is co-working spaces. So for those who do not have enough money to rent a facility, because for a business owner that acquires a facility or rents a facility, they have to pay the rent, they have to equip the environment, they have to pay for utility and all that, security, water, lights. So that has been taken off by these businesses that have created co-working spaces. So you don't have to worry about security, lights, and all that. All you have to do is just pay for a particular hour, or pay for a day, or pay for a month. Some are that flexible. And then you have one corner. You have everything there available. You're able to sit down there and work. Then there are some people that can actually partner. I know that it's kind of tough when we talk about partnership and collaboration, but thankfully, one of the goals of the SDG, the Sustainable Development Goals, talks largely on partnership and collaborations. So people are beginning to open up to such. If one does not have the financial muscle to establish and run a business, they can look at other people that are doing something similar or lack what they have. They can go into partnership. Yes, it comes with its own challenges as well. However, there are business experts and there are lawyers that could actually help in putting a close on those gaps that could bring about any form of rancor in the course of running a business.
Now, let's talk about the issue of people leaving or relocating from the country in droves, or even having the intention of it. And if you speak to an average young Nigerian who wants to leave, relocate to Canada or the United States or parts of Europe, they tell you the economy is not okay, there's insecurity, there's no power, there is inflation, and all of those challenges. But what do you make of that idea, of young people who are supposed to be around to make their skill available, to make contribution to what we are all doing here, deciding to leave, as much as they have the right to leave? But what do you make of that?
All right, I know we have a right to leave. I think at this point, the government is showing us who they really are and where their priority lies. In an economy like ours, where we have a larger percentage of young people driving the economy of a nation, when we are faced with an exodus like we are currently experiencing now, we have our skilled professionals leaving Nigeria for other shores. The government should, at this point, be running helter-skelter to see what they can do to ensure that these does not happen, at least not in the way that it's that is happening now. People will have to survive. That's the truth. I had to send a message. I was on a platform on Facebook, and someone put up an advert. So people were asking for making inquiries and all that. Then I saw one post that got my attention. This woman has a degree in economics, I think education economics, if I remember. And she said, even if it's a cleaning job in a hospital, I am ready to go do it. I've had to interview some people to find out why they would rather leave. They talk about insecurity. Before, you could drive safely on the roads, not anymore now. The air isn't, and recently there was a train incident going from Kaduna to Abuja, the one that happened recently. So people at this point they just believe that my life, my sustenance is in my hands. So if other countries are offering them a working system, why wouldn't they go for it? It is sad. I don't know what the government is waiting for. I don't know I don't know what would make them know or stand up or do more than they're actually doing. I know that they are making arrangements, like in the health sector, for instance. They are having talks on how they can invite or entice healthcare professionals to want to come back to the country. We're currently carrying out a survey in that regard to see how many of you would come back, how many of you have gone, how many of you are planning to go, how many of you are willing to come back if you are invited. And a good number of them are actually willing to come back to their country. Nigerians love Nigeria. But we need more to happen, and the government has a huge role to play in this. Make the basic amenities available for people to work. Nigerians are hardworking people, but let us know that they will live if they have a better option of surviving, of living, of having their children's education. And one of the driving force for them is that my children go to school. Their public schools, they are relatively free and they are of standard. We used to have that once upon a time in Nigeria, but not anymore. If you don't have the money, it's as if your children can't go to good schools. But over there, you have free education, you have your health insurance intact, you have some motivation at the workplace, you have allowances, the system is working. So it is saddening that people have to leave. But then if we cannot provide them with what they need to survive daily, you really can't hold them back. But this is a message to the government to sit up. And I think that constituents need to hold their officers accountable. What are you doing to ensure that we retain our brains here in Nigeria?
Okay. If you follow reports from the Corporate Affairs Commission, their website, and even some of the reports, back to them, you see that there are businesses registering on daily basis to start, which tells you that no matter how, as much as we have the harsh economic condition, there are so many startups, there are so many young businesses coming up, there's so many ideas a lot of people have, and they're bringing them on board. Now, what would be your advice to young businesses like that we already have the climate, we already have the environment, the ecosystem right now that may not necessarily be favorable in so many terms, yet people have ideas, people have urges to bring something to come to fruition when it comes to business. What would be your advice to young businesses like that on how to navigate the situation we find ourselves?
Okay, so first of all, we need to get it right. So if we're having increase in business registration, it should suggest to us that the problems are increasing, because people would see where citizens are struggling and they feel, okay, I can prefer a solution. And many people that are probably registering businesses now are registering to start earning from what they have been doing for free. So what are some of the challenges that people are experiencing now? We are finding two-parent families having to work or having to source for income. So one is probably in a paid employment, the other one is probably self-employed. And while they are out, or those that are working in a corporate environment, both couples, while they are out, who takes care of the children? Now we're on holiday, so what's happening? Someone will be proactive to say, okay, I can create an environment where you can drop your children and then go off to work, go mind your business and make the money. So businesses are being registered in this number, in large numbers, because the problems are increasing. So people are trying to solve problems for people, but because they have to also earn from it, they need to do it the right way. They go register so they can charge for their services and then have get paid for the services they render to people. Then to also answer your question, when people are registering businesses, trying to start up businesses, what is the guide? What is my counsel? What is the advice? I will say that they need to have a proper market survey. It's not just about registering a business. You need the technical know-how on how to run that business. You need to have an understanding who your target market is. It's important for you to know who to bring on board your company. It's not the time to be sentimental or emotional. Everybody is looking for money. Everyone is looking for sustainable income. Everyone wants to have a source or generate a source of revenue in order to live daily. So you don't just choose a business partner because you're friends or because it's a member of your sect or something. So one does not have to be sentimental about it. So in registering a business, what's the name of the business? All of these require education. Go acquire it. What business will I register that will signal to people, that will make people know that this is what this business answers to my needs, and they come to you. People also have to understand branding. What is your brand? What are you known for? People need to understand excellence. Even in a distressed economy, people will still bring out their money to pay for a service that they trust. So trust, in order to earn the trust of the people, it's important for you to render excellent services. It's important for the business person to be consistent. It's important for them to deliver, to be true to their word, because once trust is broken, you've lost a customer. And there's this sad thing about business owners. You feel that once I lose this customer, others will come. Yes, you may have others come, but they need to also understand that your business thrives more by word of mouth.
Yeah.
Once one customer is satisfied, they go tell 10 other people. So when you lose one person, you're likely to lose more than even 10 potential customers.
So many potential customers. All right. Thank you so much, Julie Mobo, the Director for Organization Development and Planning, Center for Real Impact. To really have touched on several things this morning. We really appreciate what you do. Thank you very much for talking to us on TVC Breakfast.